A very good evening. Myself, Shauradip Odhikari. Respected participants, scholars, students, and distinguished guests. On behalf of Modok Trainer Academy, it's my profound honor to welcome you all to today's enlightening webinar titled Intergenerational Ethics: The Role of Gen X and Gen Z in India's Journey Towards Viksit Bharat. This theme invites us to reflect deeply on how values, responsibility, wisdom, and innovation can come together across generations to shape the future of our nation. Now, I would like to share a few words with all of you about our today's respected speaker. But before diving directly into that portion, I would like to tell you something that in this short time span, it is really not possible to mention all of his achievements, but I have tried my level best to mention some of his achievements and awards and also publications. We are deeply honored to have with us today our eminent speaker, respected Professor Arun Kumar Chakraborty. Professor Chakraborty is a distinguished academician and an authority in the field of library and information science. He is associated with the Department of Library and Information Science at Netaji Subhash Open University, Kolkata. He has also served the nation in several prestigious capacities, including as the former Director General of National Library, Kolkata, former Director General of the Raja Ram Mohan Roy Library Foundation under the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, former librarian at
Bosch Institute.
Sir, your mute and video is stuck. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
okay, now it's okay. Very sorry for the technical delay. It's okay now. Our today's respected Professor Arun Kumar Chakraborty has been awarded with Fulbright Scholarship, SALIS, Dr. Harish Chandra, Sushila Chandra National Best Librarian Award, etc. He has handled numerous research projects for a long year successfully. He has written and co-authored several popular books like Professor Arun Kumar Chakraborty and Professor S.K. Biswas, Understanding Information Literary Resources in Libraries, a conceptual analysis, information ethics in the knowledge society, etc. With decades of academic, administrative, and policy level experience, Professor Chakraborty has made significant contributions to knowledge management, information ethics, digital libraries, and national and international library initiatives. His work reflects a rare blend of scholarly depth, ethical comment, and visionary leadership. Today's topic connects strongly with his lifelong engagement with ethics, knowledge systems, and social responsibility. We are strongly confident that his insights will help us better understand how different generations can collaborate ethically and meaningfully in building a developed and inclusive India. Now, with great respect and pleasure, I invite respected Professor Arun Kumar Chakraborty to deliver our today's session. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shauradip, for giving us a nice introduction. We got it. Good. Thank you, Mr. Modak, for organizing this program and giving me opportunity to be associated with the Modak Institute of this Trainers Academy. And I'm thankful also to Dr. Gargi De. She also is in touch with us for a long time. So I think I'll try to share my slide. Let me see. Screen. Current slide. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my topic is that integrational ethics, the role of Gen X and Gen Z in India's journey towards Viksit Bharat. So this topic has got a different facets. Means integrational ethics means why I've come with the Gen X and Gen Z. I want to try to make a combination of that, how integration is required for Gen X and Gen Z community for this ethical construct of the academic publishing or academic towards how we should do it. And because we are all going for journey towards Viksit Bharat 2047. So what will be our role? I'm reading with, down with a fever, so no problem. Birth years, all of you know that Gen X and Gen Z. All people know that Gen X means born between 1965 to 1980, and Gen Z is born is 1997 to 2012. So that means the things how its world grew up with Gen X. What they do it, they grew up in the internet, grew up the internet or sorry, 1 minute, grew up in internet with very tech, and then remember landlines, cassette tapes, and other letters, word letters that you all maybe knowing that the Gen X, or you know that how the Gen X has come of this that kind of things in our in my school life and all. When I was in ISI, and then we used to get a letter for waiting for letter 1 day, 2 days, every week there may be a letter will be coming. So now every moment you send the WhatsApp message and everything, so everything is now on your base. So that's the Gen Z who is born into digital first world and smartphones and the media with Wi-Fi, etc. So Gen X attitude and mindset so is an independent, self-reliant, and latchkey kids, and then skeptical of institutions and authority. That's Gen Z, and value stability and privacy. That's generally Gen X's attitude and mindset. But Gen Z is a pragmatic but socially aware. They are very much socially aware nowadays, more open about their mental health and identity. They all their identity and mental health. They give a value of authenticity, inclusivity, and transparency. These are all good concepts of the Gen Z. So work career styles, Gen X generally loyal to the employees means they once they join in a particular organization, they used to stay in that or prefer work-life balance, but tolerate long hours, email, chat, application they have recently learned. But Gen Z, their job mobility is normal. They prefer flexibility. They prefer remote working. They prefer hybrid work. They prefer WhatsApp applications, stacks, SMS, email, etc. So, but communication, Gen X, earlier phone calls and emails, direct, no nonsense communication, but Gen Z, short text, because Gen Z X, they still think that no, they will not send short SMS like this one, or emojis, or members, videos, visual first communication, reels, TikTok. Then money and security, focus on saving. Gen X focus on saving, owning in the property. Then the traditional financial planning they do. But Gen X, they cautious due to the economic uncertainty. They feel that economic uncertainty, slide hurst, gig work, more skeptical about their work. So social value is that private about their beliefs. Gen X private about their beliefs. They change focus but quietly. Gen X, Z vocal about the climate change, equality, social expectations, bonds, institutions, take words, etc. Take stands. So that means now what I just gave you a brief of how the Gen X and Gen Z little bit away communication things and how we should now integrate. So intergenerational ethics. So intergenerational ethics is that I will focus on only the what is called academic part of the intergenerational ethics. So that is the publication ethics is inherently intergenerational. So if we want to publish anything, so we have to be inherently intergenerational, because the publishing is the mix of the author is the new generation, author is the earlier generation. So senior academician, editors, reviewers, and supervisor comes under Gen X. Gen Z, who is a research scholar, now joining the research scholar, or early career, or researchers, or students, or authors. So issues like I will cover it exactly authorship order, how this authorship should be there in an order of this one. Then what should be the plagiarism? All of you know that plagiarism is the most important part, playing an important role for any kind of things. Then peer review. Peer review means, I don't know how many of you know that peer review means if you want to publish any article, that should be read by someone, comments by someone, and then they say that yes, this is okay. Then only the journal gives up the, for a very good journals or reputed journals, they are peer review journals. Then what is the predatory journals? Predatory journals means anyone give an article and they will publish with money for the money purpose. So that is called predatory journals. Then mentoring, because when you are doing a research, you need a mentor who will mentor yourself, mentoring. And then research integrity. So once you go for research, you have to be research integrity is most important. So that is a shared responsibility. That means gatekeepers, Gen X and Gen Z. They are gatekeepers of editors, reviewers. They are mentors and supervisors. They are custodians of norms. Gen Z, new entrants, because Gen Z is new entrants of PhD or first authors. Then the digital native researchers. Then challenges of outdated practices. They have a challenges of outdated practices, because outdated practices is earlier the people want to for a research, for literature review, they used to go to the library and then they have to scan very old journals, old books, and to find out the literature search on the particular topic. But still they may spend more than 1 or 2 years to get these things. But nowadays, because of the computer availability, the new gen, they can get things done through computer. They will go to the library. Through computer, they know the exact books, and then they can search. So this time saving is becoming easier for them. So India's journey towards Viksit Bharat, now we are Gen X and Gen Z both are going for a Viksit Bharat, because everybody were going for a Gen Z 2047. Maybe 2047 Gen X may not be there, but still for few parts they will be there. So India's journey towards Viksit Bharat, a knowledge-driven nation, cannot become Viksit Bharat without the ethical research. If we want to have a Viksit, so that means we have to be ethical kind of part of it, things is a research. So that means we should have a credible publications, which should be global academic trust. That means if we publish anything, it should be credible publication, and the global academic trust should be there. So ethical scholarship means innovation and policy derivation. So means we have to be ethical scholarship means innovation and policy relevance. It should be policy relevance and this. Then research integration. Research integrity is important because international research integrity depend upon the research integrity, international ranking and collaboration. The institution get, see, if the publication is from the particular university or institute, then the university or a research institute gets the point. That's in the international ranking NIRF ranking, national or international ranking framework. So publication ethics becomes nation building issue, not just as a academic rule book. So you have to think that when we publish anything, our ethic is more important because it is a building a national issue, not just an academic rule book. You know that our ethics generally comes from the where we get from the ethics. Ethics we get it from the birth itself. We start getting the ethics because first of all, when we get the child, very very small child, even from the 3 months, from their parents, their grandparents, their neighbor, they are coming up to 4 years. Then school, then comes the ethics, comes from the schooling, then from the college, then the university, the system. So wherever they are going, every time the ethics, if they come across with the ethics, that will come to the inherent of the body of the things on. So that way they can do the research. So Gen X, Gen Z, in a knowledge economy, academic publications are not merely personal achievement. We have to understand that academic publications are not only the personal achievements. They are public intellectual asset, because once we publish anything, it is not only the academic application is ours, it is the application of the everybody, because it is a public resources. It is a personal, it's not a personal achievement, it is a national interest. See, you think that earlier, they say Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose, Satyan Bose, they have, or Meghnad Shah, they have published several documents and several, the Einstein, they published, they are not here, but their things are there. So that means their intellectual capabilities is in a public domain, and there is a public knowledge. So that means they did not do research for themselves, because their life was only 70 years, 80 years. So anyone is doing the research is not for this one, it's for the public consumption, public intellectual asset. That we have to understand. So that means once we want to publish anything, it should be very, very ethically correct, because it is communicating to the others. So therefore, publication ethics is a core intergenerational ethical responsibility. Why I want to say the publication ethics is a core intergenerational ethical responsibility in India's journey towards Viksit Bharat. So if Gen X provides ethical stewardship and Gen S practices ethical innovation, academic publishing can become one of the India's largest pillar in achieving Viksit Bharat. That means Gen X and Gen ethical stewardship, Gen 8 practices the ethical innovation, because Gen Z, who's there, they are more innovative. They are more academic. So that innovation and the steward leadership, if combined together, then the achieving Viksit Bharat will not be difficult for us. Am I very fast, or is it okay? Am I audible?
Sir.
Audible?
Yeah,
Is it
audible,
very
sir.
is it very
Yes,
fast?
sir. Yes, sir.
No,
Is it
please
okay?
slowly, sir. Sir,
Huh?
please slowly.
Did you slow? Okay.
Sir, please slow,
Oh,
one by one,
okay,
please.
okay, okay. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. So the why publication ethics matter for Viksit Bharat? Why what for we need a Viksit Bharat matters? Key points is that knowledge is a national asset in a developing knowledge economy. We know that now we are in a knowledge, all knowledge is a national asset, and knowledge is becoming developing economy. So research and publication, it shapes global credibility of Indian academia. So is what we do, research publications, whatever we publish is a global credibility of Indian academia. It's a policy making and innovation. It's a policy making for innovation, because whatever we publish, the publish will guide you, the policy maker, to make the policy making, and the innovation will comes from this one. So university ranking and collaboration. So what the research and publication shapes, why we want to consider of the publication ethics. So unethical research with sorry, unethical research weakens national progress. Sorry, yeah, got cold and cough. Okay. So why publication ethics matters in a Viksit Bharat? So unethical research weakens national progress. A developed nations cannot be built on the compromise solutions. So integrational nature of publication ethics, what is that? There is a senior faculty members, and Gen X is a senior faculty members, and Gen Z is a research scholars. Gen X is a editors and reviewers, and Gen Z is a first-time authors. So Gen X is a supervisor, Gen Z is a early career researchers. So Gen X is a custodians of the norms, and Gen Z is a digital native innovators. That means they, Gen X always thinks that we should continue on the norms and all, we should not break the norms. But yeah, Gen Z feels that the digital innovative native innovations is very important. So what is ethical truth? That publication ethics is not an individual ethics, but it is a intergenerational ethics. That means if the both are combining this intergeneration, if it's possible, then only that we can achieve the Viksit Bharat. So core ideas of the academic publication ethics is a plagiarism and self-plagiarism. Plagiarism, what is that? Is the copying text from, see, anyone is copying text from particular point and then data without attribution, means without citing in themselves, is just copying the, if you can see, a person cannot have a huge entire idea for a particular thesis. He has to consult so many documents, but whatever he consults, he should give attributions. He should cite it to the person that he wants. Even the reviewing the one's own published work without disclosure, you have to, even if you want to use your publication, that also you have to tell that yes, you have used that one somewhere. Where? So there is an ethical balance. Gen X is a mentor ethical writing, means they are ethical IT mentor, and then Gen Z is a use tools responsibly, not blindly. The Gen Z is a more using the tools rather than the but they use it as a not blindly, they use it as a responsibly, means that Gen Z is more using that now AI has come, chat GPT has come, so how they are using it. So I will come that one in the later stage. So authorship ethics is a gift authorship. Now what kind of authorship ethics is there? Is it gift authorship? What is a gift authorship? Gift authorship means, say, he is my friend, or I want to get a benefit from him, so I will give his name in my publication. That is called the gift authorship. Then ghost authorship. I will give it somebody's name without his contributions, and he's a ghost authorship. Then order of authorships disputes. Order of authorship disputes is very important, because see, if you are publishing with a 3-4 authors, say you are publishing with your supervisor or PhD supervisor or your colleague, senior colleague and all. So in publication ethics, how order of authorship disputes should be resolved. That is means, I will come. That ethical principle is that authorship reflects intellectual contribution, not hierarchy. So if authorship ethics is there, so we have to reflect intellectual contribution. That means who has contributed first, what kind of person has contributed, and depending upon that, you have to say that yes, who is that, how is contributing. Then peer review or editorial ethics. Ethical expectations. What is that? Confidentiality of the manuscripts. For the first, that, see, if you are working together, 3-4 people are working together, and you have to feel that someone is working, so how we should keep the confidential of the manuscripts. Then no conflict of interest. What is a no conflict of interest means? See, there are paid research is there. See, if someone says that this is the soap or some cosmetic or some items they will produce, or some medicine they will produce, and they will tell you that in the research, they will pay you and tell you that this has got a huge impact on the society, but that may not be. So that is a paid research. So we should not do that paid research kind of things on all. So there is a no conflict of interest should be there. Then objective of unbiased evaluation. Then when we are evaluating somebody's papers or peer reviewing, we should be doing the unbiased way. Then Gen X responsibility is that fair gatekeeping, timely reviewing, and ethical mentoring. But Gen Z responsibility is that respect peer review. Whatever peer review is done, you should respect. Respond ethically or to the reviewer's comments. You should comment to the spot that if you do not like, you can comment to the ethically. So predatory journals or publish or perish culture is the key issue. Fake impact factor. How we should know that what is the predatory journals? Because it will be having a fake impact factor. It has got a rapid publication promises. That means it will say that you will give a paper today and tomorrow it will be published. So that means a rapid publication phrases. No peer review. No peer review means the peer review for any good journal, there should be a peer review. Peer review means it should be reviewed by the authentic persons, that means experts on that particular field. So what is the ethical risk? Short-term gain. In a publication of predatory journals, it should be short-term gain. Say today itself, you are giving, tomorrow it is published, so you will get a promotion. So long-term academic damage. It will be short-term, you will get a promotion, but it will be a long-term academic damage, because why it will be? Because you have to be Indian context, is UGSC careless journal or not, or institutional repository journal. Key message is that without quantity, without any quality, is unethical scholarship. So that means if you publish on that, and then I will come back why it is a problem. Say if you publish that particular paper and that is a predatory journal, then it can be retracted. It should be retracted some way. So Gen Z reality is that AI for grammar, summarization, references, data analysis tools. Say Gen Z, the reality feels that they use the grammar, summarization, references for this one. They do the data analysis tools, different data analysis tools are available. Then ethical boundaries is that AI authorship. So how, if you do the using the artificial intelligence or chat box, how much it is a authorship is there, how much authorship you are accepting. Disclosure of the AI assistance. You have to disclose that how much you have taken the help from the AI. Then you should inform the human accountability remains central. So how much human accountability is there, you have to remain the centrals. Then integrational ethics. Gen X guides norms. It innovates the responsibility. So academic ethics as a national building of ethics. Why? It's ethical research. It leads to the global trust of Indian scholarship. It's a global trust of the Indian scholarship. Means, say, it gives you the global policy relevant knowledge. Sustainable innovation. It gives a sustainable innovation. It's innovate. Global trust of Indian scholarship. It gives scholarship. Policy relevant knowledge. Sustainable innovation. Ethical failures lead to the, already I told, retraction. What is the meaning of the retraction? How many of you know that? Retraction means that if a journal is published and then finally if somebody claims that it is no, this is journal has been copied from someone else, and then if he can prove that one, then the journal asks him to withdraw, and then journal put it in the retraction. If you go to the retractions of the journal site, you'll see huge number of scientific journals are also retracted because of the mispractice. So that way they will get punished later on. So that is why ethical failure should be retraction, loss of credibility, and then once it is a paper you retracted, so your credibility is gone. Then loss of the credibility, intellectual dependency. You will be more on intellectual dependency. You will lose your credibility. So closing remarks is that giving Viksit Bharat requires not only advanced research, but also ethical research. So that means what you have to understand, that if we want to make a Viksit Bharat, it will not only then advanced research. If we do the advanced research, that will not do. We have to do the advanced research with a ethical research. Ethical part is very important. So disclosure questions is that, is the publish or perish culture ethically sustainable? If we publish or perish means if we do not publish, or if after publish, if it is a find out that it's a retracted, so culture ethically sustainable is which one should be doing? Who bears greater responsibility for publication ethics, mentor or scholar? So this responsibility means that once the publication ethics is there is a mentor, there is a scholar. So both of will be responsible for this, both will be responsible for this purpose. So should AI is used in the research be formally declared? So the ingredients of this convenient science, ethics, and the roadmap of the Viksit Bharat. So there is no such thing as a neutral science. If we see that what is a neutral science, there is nothing such a neutral science. Start by challenging the traditional notion that science is purely objective observation. While the method may be objective, the questions we ask, the funding we receive, and the applications of our findings are deeply social and political. Because what I told you that whatever science brings us for that, whether it is a socially or politically acceptable or not. That's it goes the science kind of thing, social and political. The core concept is that we often view these three as a pillar, as a separate silos. Science, the engine of possibility. Can we do it? Science means can we do it? Can we repeatedly do it? Ethics, the barking systems. Should we do it? If this is done, should we do it? Then society, the passengers, who benefit and who gets hurt. So that means anything science discovers, there is a difficulties of kinds of things is there. So you have to see that who is getting benefits and who is getting hurt. That also has to be, society has to be seen. So because what I'm telling you, society has to be said. See, if there is a huge number of the science brings out a medicine which is very, very costly, but the society, but the poor or many of the people will not be able to purchase those medicines. So then what will happen to the society? That's whatever is discovered is not applicable to the society. So that is why the society is responsible. Society has to find out, say, whether if we go for a IPR or copyright IPR of a particular or product or for things or not, and then if we see that it's a very becoming costly medicine, then how can it be? So that's why government has made a generic medicine kind of things. So that's a society, how science is becoming more important. So integrational convenience, science, ethics, and the roadmap of the Viksit Bharat. We often speak that Viksit Bharat is a 2047 as an economic finish line. Because we all say that in Viksit Bharat will go as a $30 trillion economy. But if we reach even $30 trillion with a fractured society, then a depleted environment, we have not developed. We have merely scaled our problems. Because if we want to go to in a Viksit Bharat 2047, not only 30 trillion economy not only on this. True development, because is not just about a GDP. How much GDP is not that is not true business. It is about the maturity of our decisions. As we march towards 2047, we face a unique friction. So the leadership is our labs, and the policy room is our largely Gen X born. But the citizens who will inhabit the future are Gen 8 born 1927 to 2000. So you have to think that whatever the Viksit Bharat, whatever we go for this one, this not only do this one, you have to be very, very careful for that. Then the international ethics, we see that. So the two protagonists of Indian science, to navigate this, we must understand the different ethical baselines of the two generations. How these two generations, Gen X and Gen Z. Gen X is an architect. Gen Z is an inheritor. They have inherited from the Gen X. What they have inherited? Formative era, 1991 economic liberalization. Through this economic liberation, what Gen Z is getting? Digital revolution and climate crisis. View of science. Science solves scarcity. What Gen X is that architect? The science solves the scarcity. But science must solve consequences, because you have to see that what are the consequences. Ethical focus is that institutional integrity and growth. What Gen Z is that inclusivity, mental health, sustainability. Digital stance, digital immigrants, users, because this Gen X is also becoming digital immigrants, but they are digital natives, inhabitants. They have acquired this one. Then the role of in 2047, the retired mentors and the leaders of the helm. So the core conflict of this Gen X and Gen Z is that view of the as a science, as a tools for stability and growth, nation building. because they see that is a nation building, science is the stability and nation building. Jade view science as a tools for justice and survival in the planet saving. So key concepts, integrational ethics is the bridge between the two world viewers. If we ask, are we borrowing from the future to pay for the present? Should they say that how much we are paying for the payments for the present systems? So the three partners that we are facing the Manhattan moments where Indian science, society, and ethics is colliding. So the green dilemma. What is the green dilemma? Energy security versus climate justice. Somebody says that energy security. Somebody says that climate justice. So India needs energy to grow, Viksit Bharat goal, because we have to energy. Without energy, we cannot grow. So Gen X view is that we need a coal and nuclear to lift millions of out of poverty now. But what Gen Z view that if you burn that coal, my life in 2047 will be unlivable. So ethical synthesis, we need a just transition. We cannot demand Gen Z inherit a scorched earth, but we cannot demand the poor remain in darkness. So science must solve this not only just because within efficiency, but with equity and affordable. So you have to think of that. So three frontliners of the integrational friction is that the digital public infrastructure. Now we consider of the digital public infrastructure. India is a world leader in the digital public infrastructure like UPI, Aadhaar, etc. So the success we achieved financial inclusion in the decade that took the West in a century. The risk is that as we move to AI-driven governance, we risk creating surveillance state. What is the ethical questions? If an AI denies a student a scholarship or a farmer a loan, or who is accountable? Who is accountable? The Gen X codes for priorities, efficiency, or the algorithm. See, if we search anything for the digital infrastructure, so see, using the API AI, if we ask AI, okay, whether this person is eligible for a scholarship or not, and if we justify with that one, how we justify that one? It is not possible that AI should be able to justify this. So the Gen Z demands that algorithmic justice, ensuring that the digital systems don't replicate our caste or gender bias. Should not gender bias. So the bioethics, modernity versus tradition. There is a bioethics is there. I've already told that in medicine, in a pharmacy, things on. As we advance in genomic and a cluster regulatory interspace, short paradigm repeats, different clusters of genomic theory. The tension is that how do we integrate Indian knowledge systems like Ayurveda and yoga with modern empirical science? Then goal, validating traditional wisdom through rigorous scientific methods. Genomics, this respect the past ancestors while empowering the future innovation. We have to see that how it has been done, the future innovations. The 7 generic principles is that adapted from the indigenous wisdoms. Every scientific decision we make in our lab today, that is plastic, polymers, AI models, whatever may be, must be weighed against as its impact in 7 generation stages. What is that? We have a ring. Rin means depth. In India philosophy, we are born with the depth of our ancestors. Pitri rin, and to nurture nature, Bhutarin. So what is Gen X duty? To leave institutions stronger than they found them. Then Z duty to innovate without destroying the principal capital of the planet. So anticipatory ethics is that we must teach our scholars to ask what if before they ask how. Example, before deploying the facial recognitions on the campus is in the students. So now I just give you a small case study. The objective is that case study of the academic integrity. Objective is that to provoke debate on the intersection of AI, academic integrity, and intergenerational ethics within the context of the Indian higher education and Viksit Bharat 2047. Say, we think that I have given a title that the Sanskrit GPT dilemma, tradition, technology, and authorship is a title. So, generative pre-trained transformer. So, what is it says that what the name means, that simply generative means it creates text and more rather than just analyzing it. Then pre-trained, it learns from huge amounts of data before being used by the people. Then the transformer, the neural network architecture, is built on a great or understanding context. So Sanskrit GPT, can we understand the meeting point between the ancient linguistic precision and the efficient traditional model? So how we integrate? So the Sanskrit GPT dilemma, tradition, technology, and authorships setting is that a prestigious university in India aiming to integrate Indian knowledge systems with a modern technology, a key goal in the NEP 2020. What is the protagonist says? Dr. Sharma Jain says, a senior research professor or history and Indology. He values the rigor, archival research, and manual translation and deep textual analysis. The views of the Viksit Bharat as a revival of the deep. He thinks that, senior professor in history, he thinks that you should do the rigorous research work, not using the AI, it should be manual translation and deep textual analysis, and he reviews the picture. But it's a brilliant final year computer jet. Rohan says that is a student. He says that Viksit Bharat is efficiency and things. So the project Rohan is a task with a translating set of obscure, undigitized 18th century Sanskrit manuscripts on a metallurgy relevant to the history of Indian science. What he has done? He has done in that by using the computer AI. The conflict is that instead of manually translating the text, which would take 6 months, or fine-tunes a large language model on existing Sanskrit text, he calls it as a Sanskrit GPT. So he calls it as Sanskrit GPT. So he scans the manuscripts using the OCR. He feeds them into his model, and the model produces a fluent English translation and even generates imperative commentary linking the ancient metallurgy to modern and sustainable practices. So he integrates it one. So submission of the Rohan submits that paper as a co-author with the Rohan and Sanskrit GPT. Dr. Sharma, when it comes to the peer review process, Dr. Sharma rejects his paper immediately, citing that academic dishonesty. Why is saying that academic dishonesty? He says that you have not done this. This is being done by the computer programmer, computer programming and all. So the very point is that a integrated pursuit. Dr. Sharma's stance is that argument, research is not just an output. It is a struggle. So by skipping the manual translation, Rohan missed the fine distinction, the context, and the cognitive discipline required to truly understand the text. So what he sees that Rohan missed the fine tune. So ethical violation is that an AI cannot be an author. It has no moral responsibility if the translation is wrong. Who is to blame? That's what Dr. Sharma's views. And what is the Viksit Bharat angle? We cannot build a developed nation on a superficial knowledge generated by the machines. We don't understand. So the different debate pointing is that viewpoint. Viewpoint B is that the efficiency pragmatist. What is Rohan's stance? What is Rohan is saying that his argument is that the goal of science is to uncover knowledge. Science, huh? Hello? कुछ बोलছেন?
Sir, please go.
Okay. The argument is that the goal of science is to uncover knowledge. So the manual method was too slow. So thousands of manuscripts are rotting away. So AI allows us to unlock our heritage at a scale. So what is ethical defense? I built the tool. I verified the code. I acknowledge the tool. This is no difference than using a calculator for maths. So what doesn't say that for math, if I have a calculator, so why shouldn't I make a language model? Why I should not be able to do the processing of this? So Viksit Bharat angle, if we want to be a $30 million economy, we must use the fastest tool available. So speed is an asset, not a sin. That's what Ron's argument. So then the debate points become a viewpoint of C, that intergenerational middle path. The solution is that the problem is not the tool, it is the claims made about the tool. Claim made about the tool. What is the resolutions? Argument in the resolution verification. Rohan must manually verify and statistically significant samples of the translation to prove the model's accuracy, human in that loop. What he says that because Dr. Sharma wants that it should be manually models, manually scrutinized. So authorship is that the AI is not an author, it is the method. The paper is by Rohan using Sanskrit GPT. Rohan accepts full liability for errors. Rohan says that whatever error I have made is my fault. So transparency, the methodology section must be explicitly detailed. The prompts used for the training data. So that means when you use writing a thesis or writing article, you should use the methodology clearly that what methodology you have used, so that you avoid the plagiarisms. So discussion of the questions of the audience. So now I ask the audience, what is that for the faculty? If Rohan's AI finds connection that no human historian had noticed before, is that a discovered valid? Or for the scholars, is it ethical to copyright a knowledge that was mined from the public domain, ancient text by the AI? Or the inner depth questions is that does mass digitizing ancient knowledge without understanding deeply disrespect the intellectual depth we owe to the original authors? Because original authors will get, we will not, if we are not doing the translation, long translation, so it is a depletion to the authors. So workflow comparisons. So traditional is that manuscripts, human reading, dictionary, lookup, draft, edit, final. It takes 6 months. But if I make it as AI assisted, the manuscripts, OCR, AI prompt, AI output, human verification, final, it takes 2 weeks. So that's my time is very important. So conclusion on the key takeaways in my things of that is the Viksit Bharat is not only an economic but ethical. It's not only economic but it is an ethical project. It's rooted in responsibility, inclusions, and long-term vision. It has got a long-term vision. Gen X is that brings experience, is the institutional memory and ethical grounding. So Gen X brings that experience, institutional memory, and ethical grounding. Gen Z contributes the innovation, digital fluency, and moral urgency. So what we need to do, integration of ethics bridge generations. So transforming differences into complementary strengths rather than conflict. So this, what I wanted to make it that Gen Z and Gen X should not make it conflict. We should make it, we should make it complementary each other, not the conflict of each other. So that is the main important of the integrational ethics, or my key point of my lecture. So sustainable national development demands integrational dialogue and not dominance of one generation over another. So if we dominate one generation another, we say he is doing wrong, he is doing wrong. So that way, if we make it quarrel, we will not able to run the Viksit Bharat, because in India or wherever, the generation of X will also be there, generation Z also will be there. And if we quarrel each other, so the country cannot achieve the Viksit Bharat. So critical thinking is a shared responsibility. Questioning systems, challenging inequalities, and ailing progress the value. So the future of India depends on the ethical collaboration where wisdoms and innovations realizes. So that's the most important. So final reflection is that, my final reflection of this is that if Gen X provides ethical stewardship, Gen Z practices ethical innovation. So Indian academia can become a global model of responsible knowledge creation. If we can, Gen X and Gen Z mix up, so we can practice the global model for responsible knowledge wisdoms. A truly Viksit Bharat emerges when generations do not compete for the future, but co-create it. We should not compete for each other. We should co-create it. Viksit Bharat is the only merely about the building a stronger nation, but about the becoming a more ethical one. So enabling Indian ethical tradition within the quality framework strengthens the higher education role in achieving the Viksit Bharat. So if we want to have a achieve Viksit Bharat, we have to be Gen Z and Gen X kind of things. So thank you very much for giving me opportunity. So anything of this one, I can talk